It's not the first time Austin's police chief has apologized for the city's response to the Onion Creek floods in October.
4 people died, hundreds were left homeless, but only KXAN can tell you this is the first time in several years that Chief Art Acevedo is talking about taking a fresh look now at the failings of the 911 call center. Here's KXAN's investigator, Robert Maxwell.
We found out about the plans for a new communications division report as part of our ongoing KXAN investigation into the October 31st flood. Last week, the city released its flood report into what went right and what did not. But nowhere was there any mention of how an overwhelmed 911 call center that morning left more than 1,000 people on hold. KXAN first told you about the problem in February. Tonight, the chief of police says that information was left out of the flood report on purpose. You open the flood report, you open APD's attachment, there is no mention of the call hold times, there's no mention of what staff levels were that morning for people to study. Why not?
Because we're going to make that a separate piece, a separate component of our response and our report back.
The report could look like a police communications audit conducted in 2011. It found the call center had no new staff in more than a decade. In the ensuing years, tight budgets and other public safety priorities have meant pleas to add civilian staff have stayed out of the funding process. More on the money side, this June, the chief approved a plan to cut call taker overtime. That resulted in 911 callers being put on hold longer. He also admitted to KXAN the plan was supposed to end after 60 days, but mistakenly continued through last October. That included the Onion Creek flood. He denies the overtime cut initiative was politically motivated.
We have to stay within the confines of our budget.
So was this a political play to get some attention on the call center?
Oh, no.
To get some overtime dollars rolling this year?
You know what? Absolutely not. It's just we manage based on what's in front of us, based on threats. We identify threats. We identify needs every year.
Chief Acevedo says the new communications report from the police department will be out sometime this spring, and he promises it will pull no punches. As for that overtime cut plan to call takers, we hear that was phased out last fall, even though staffing levels were kept so that call center response guidelines were maintained. Back to you.